lifestyle goals are just dreams.
Come on.
And ultimately, they fuel disappointment.
Exactly.
On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency. Because without commitment, you'll never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish.
Welcome to the Ugly Houses Big Checks show. I'm your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. I am excited about today's episode because today's episode is all about the 10 things, the 10 reasons why budding, inspired new real estate wholesalers or established real estate wholesalers fail in this business. So I'm very excited to be able to share this with you. Obviously, we are in a new location. Our usual studio is getting rebuilt, so bear with us on some of the details. We're going to do our very best to provide the best show possible. I am here with Rafael Cortez. Rafael Cortez is here. Thank you, Rafael, for letting us into your office. We're going to crack this thing open.
Mi casa es tu casa. Casa de Pulse.
This is an excellent casa. Thank you. All right, here we go. Number one is this, guys. I'm kind of flying blind here because we're having some technical difficulties with the. I don't have a screen that I usually have up here, so they're going to be putting up the 10 reasons why people fail as I'm going through it, but we're going to do our best. Number one is this. And this is a fact. Listen, guys, I've been doing this since 2004. I got my real estate license in 2004. I discovered real estate wholesaling after being a real estate agent and an investor for 10 years. It took me 10 years to really discover. I kind of found it in 2013, and in 2014, it really started to take off and take over my life. And I was very excited about that because I am telling you, the life that I had before wholesaling versus the life that I had after wholesaling is so much. I mean, the life I had before it felt very small, and the life that I have now with wholesaling and building a successful $1 million plus wholesaling business is so much bigger and so much more profitable and so much more exciting and so much more that I can control my schedule and control my time. So I really want you to take these 10 seriously. I want you to take these 10 seriously because this is something that I've seen over the last 7 years of coaching thousands of people and growing my own business. It can't be a want. Sorry, guys, everything's kind of going bananas here. Am I even on?
Yes.
I don't see it. Okay, got it. It can't be a want, it needs to be a must. And what I mean is this. There are people in this business that are interested in real estate. You can't just be interested in real estate. You have to be committed to real estate. You have to be committed to finding the absolute best deals. This can't just be something that you're like, you know what, let me dip my toe in and see if it works for a couple weeks. It doesn't work that way. You must want to change your life. You must want a different financial future. You must not want to have just a normal 9 to 5 and have people control what you're doing on a daily basis. Okay? It is a must, not a want. Okay, that is the number one thing. When I get on welcome calls with new students that I'm working with, they ask me, what is the thing, right? What is the thing that makes people different? The ones that make people superstars that you interview on your podcast, and the people that just kind of don't really succeed in this. They might do a deal here and there. And it's the difference between want and it must happen. All right? Number two is this. People spend money to leverage skills that they don't have. Okay? People don't want to master the skills. You don't want to go in and put in all the time and effort to master all of these skills. What happens is you go out and you get a big deal, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go hire somebody to be an acquisition manager or disposition manager. I'm going to hire somebody to make all of my calls and texts and do all these things for you. But you haven't mastered the skills. And you can get away with that, and you have been able to get away with it, and people have been able to build pretty successful businesses so far. Guess what? That's over. We are entering into an era where you have to have skills. You have to have skills. You have to build this up. And we've talked about this time and time again, but let me show you the 10 skills test that I want you to go through if you haven't been through it already. All right? These are the 10 skills that you have to master. Go through this honestly and rate yourself between 1 and 10 how strong you are at those skills. It's the real estate skills test, and this is what makes you a strong entrepreneur. This is what makes you somebody that is powerful out there, that is well-rounded, that it doesn't matter what's going on in the economy. It only matters what's going on here. It only matters what's going on with your efforts and your actions every single day to build up a successful business. All right? That's what's important here. It's building the skills. Stop hiring skills that you don't have. It's over. I'm sorry. That leverage that the people have been able to get away with, it's not here anymore. Because the fact is, if you don't build these skills subconsciously, you know your business is going to start slipping because you don't know if your people are doing the right things every single day because you don't know what they are. So build these skills. Build the skills of time management. Build the skills of lead generation. Build the skills of pre-qualifying and lead follow-up and offer presentation and selling those properties and understanding the exit strategies and starting every day at zero. Start all of those things. Okay? You got to master the skills. You got to master the skills right now. I'm telling you, with the market transitioning and changing, it's going to go really fast. Master the skills. You've got this, because here's the other thing. When you master the skills, your subconscious understands that you know what's happening. You know what's going on. And when you have that, it makes you confident. And when you're confident, you can have positive affirmations instead of negative affirmations. So that's number 2, master the skills. Number 3, this one we see people get caught up in all the time is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get education, and then I'm going to take action, and I'm going to get results. All right? I'm going to get education, take action, get results. That's a usual equation. But it's not the right equation, because what happens is we get stuck in education mode. We get stuck in a mode that's like, okay, well, I'm going to just learn and learn and learn, and when I get ready to get started, I'm going to know everything. I'm going to be very confident, and I'm going to be comfortable moving forward and really throwing myself into this, right? But it's not. The action plus the results is your education. The action plus the results is your education. Okay, I am telling you, that is the formula. We all know people that we've grown up with. We all know people that we've seen in this business that they know way less than us. I'll give you a perfect example. My mentor, Tom Kroll, came into this business and he was doing lawn care. And Todd Toback, his older brother, had been doing it for years. And they had a 90-day challenge to go out there and get his first deals. And they documented all this. This was back in 2013, 14, and 15. I don't remember what it was. But they documented all of this. And he knew nothing about it. And then he became the #1 wholesaling coach in the country. He became my mentor. And I was in business for like 14 years. Right? Because it was all about taking the action. The action is the education. We can't just stay in the classroom. We have to go out in the streets. This is not just theory. This is implementation. So if you're kind of stuck in the, I'm just trying to learn what I'm supposed to do and get educated and all this, stop it. Start taking the actions. And it starts with this. Find an ugly house. Get the phone number for that property owner. batchskiptracing.com. Easy peasy. Call them up. Ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. We've got all the scripts, we've got all the downloads in ttpinsider.com. We've got all of that, right? We've got everything that you would need, every tool and resource for free that you can download right now, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not worth anything. It's worth $1 million in some people's hands. It's worth nothing in other people's hands. It's a waste of your time if you're not going to use it. So stop getting in the education mode and start getting into the action mode. Right? I say this, and people kind of take it the wrong way in some senses, but the dumbest people make the most money. And what I mean is they just go and take the action, let the failures teach them. That's the teacher. All right? There you go. Number 4 is, and this one happens all the time, a lack of a written business plan. Lack of a written business plan. Right? Do you have an actual business plan? Do you know how much what your goal is to make over the next 12 months? Is it realistic? Do you have a realistic written business plan? And then have you broken that down day by day, what you're going to do day by day, week by week, month by month? Have you already gone through all of that? Because if you don't have a written business plan, what happens is you fall for everything. Shiny object syndrome takes over your life. It takes over your world. And then all of a sudden you're not focused. You're all over the place. And you can't develop discipline because you're looking at the competition. You're looking at other people in the industry as a competition. The real competition, and I mentioned this on Wholesale Hotline on Monday, the real competition is you versus your business plan. That's it. Because it's the only thing that you can control. It's the only thing that you can control. It's your actions, your efforts, your mindset, right? So have a written business plan that you follow and then have the discipline every single day to do what's required on a daily basis so that these small wins, these daily wins stack up to big weekly wins, big monthly wins, and big yearly wins. I'm telling you, all real businesses have a business plan. It's for a reason. If you're just out there willy-nilly, just having fun and doing this thing and just slanging deals and doing whatever, that's great until the music stops or until you get distracted or until the market changes, right? Have a written business plan. Be real about this. This business is absolutely incredible if you let it be, but it has to be a business. Be a real pro. Have a business plan, all right? Number 5, are you coachable? Let me ask you this question to the whole audience. Are people that are coached, do people that get coached, do they have success faster and more often than people that don't get coached? And I'm not just talking like one-on-one coaching. I'm not talking about buying my mentorship. I'm not talking about that type of thing. I'm talking about anything. I'm just talking about something that you see and implement, what you're seeing right now and implement. Are you coachable, or are you filtering it through your own unqualified experience? Right? Like, that's called ego. And it destroys 90% of wholesalers. How coachable are you? How coachable are you to take something and just actually go and do it? Right? The top students that I have do exactly what I tell them to do. And they win. It's not rocket science. It's when you want to get creative and put it through the filter of your own experience, which, by the way, again, is unqualified. If you're just getting going on this, or if you're not succeeding at the level that you want to, you got to be coachable. You got to really look at it and say, okay, am I coachable here? Am I going to implement the actions that are in front of me? The actual action plan, the things that I'm learning every single day. Am I going to implement that, or am I going to just do my own version of it and make it my own? Doesn't work. Everything that you want is already in somebody else's brain. It's a Tim Ferriss quote. Questions are the pickaxe that gets at that gold, right? Everything else, everything's already out there. So how coachable are you at implementing it? All right? Number 6, we touched on this before. There are positive affirmations and there are negative affirmations. There is. And your subconscious mind controls what you do on a daily basis. It controls your behaviors. Your subconscious mind. All the things that you put into your mind. And it's really 4 main things. The people that you hang out with, obviously. The things that you listen to. The things that you watch. And the things that you read. So where are you putting your attention? Are you putting your attention at extremely positive things that are going to increase your ability to be a successful entrepreneur? Are you putting in more entertainment? Are you listening to music all the time you're in the car? Are you listening to podcasts and Audible? Are you Netflixing? Or are you watching YouTube and getting the education? When you're in hustle season, you got to shut out. You don't have to like totally shut down like all of your entertainment, but you got to be very, very, very careful here because our subconscious mind affects the behavior that we have consciously. It's an absolute fact. Let me show you this diagram. And this was something that was taught to me by my realtor coach, my real estate agent coach, Mike Ferry. But it's a very simple thing here. All right. Right here, this is your subconscious mind. This is your conscious mind. This is that little funnel that goes through. The things here that we hear, see, read, and the people that we're around are the foremost things that affect this. Right here, the subconscious mind. And then what happens is it floats down here into the conscious, and this is our behaviors. And by the way, the subconscious mind, you know what this stores? That wonderful, beautiful word called skills. That's why we were talking before. If you leverage somebody else's skills when you're getting started in this business, you're not building these skills that go into your subconscious mind that make you a better business professional. Right? Does everybody agree? Right? So you've got the skills, it's going into your subconscious mind, and then that's what's affecting here, and that's what affects the behaviors, which affects your actions. All right? Again, are you committed in this business, or are you just interested? Next, I love this. I love this one. Do you know what the most expensive part of our business is? The absolute most expensive part of it, is it marketing? Is it prospecting? Is it our CRM? Is it our tools? What is it? What do you guys think it is? Give you a little bit of chance there. The number one most expensive part of our business is our emotions. Right? Ring, 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 ring. Hello. Oh, you do want to sell your house? Oh, fantastic. I'll be right over. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is an ugly house and they want me to come over and this is so exciting. Oh, yes, 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 right? Ring, ring, ring. Hello? Oh, you don't want me to come over anymore? Oh, you decide you're going to keep the property? Oh, okay. Ring, 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 ring. Hello? Oh, you do want to sell your house. Okay, great. You know, it's this roller coaster that we go to. Or, man, I just locked up a deal. I'm going to sell this thing. It's going to be $20,000. Oh, wait, the seller wants to cancel. Right? Oh, I've got this unbelievable deal. Market changed. It's not a deal anymore. You got to get a price reduction. Shh, 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 shh. You got to find a way to be level with this. You got to find a way to just keep your emotions level. Like we love celebrating, we love ringing the bell, we love doing all of these things, right? But then it's over. After it dings, now it's time to get back to work. It's time to start over every single day. If you can master the ability to start at zero every single day, you are going to avoid complacency, which catches a lot of people, right? The complacency of, yeah, I'm doing well, I've got all the systems, I'm doing it, I don't really have to adapt and change. Next one, and it already popped up, I think. Lack of a financial plan. Lack of a financial plan. Most people think it's income minus expenses equals profit. That's wrong. Income minus the profit you want to make on this business equals your expenses. Stop going in and saying, I'm only going to pay myself $5,000, $7,000, $3,000 a month until we build this business up, and then put that money into your employees and other people that you're hiring because you're like, I don't want to do that. I want to leverage your skills. It doesn't work anymore. I'm telling you, you have to set a profit for yourself. One, it's going to keep your attention in this business. If you're making $10,000 a month, you're like, yes, that's amazing. If you're making $100,000 a month, you're going to be focused on every time the wind blows in your business. You are. What is your minimum standard for how much you want to take home? Nothing is more heartbreaking than really strong, bright-eyed, like fire in their belly, electricity in their feet, real estate entrepreneurs that I talk to that are doing great business and only taking home tiny little bits of money to them and their family. This isn't a business. If you're building a wholesaling business, if you're building a business of sourcing deals, sourcing opportunities, it's not a business you sell. You're not building an asset. This is not an asset. This is a cash machine. Get it really, really, really clear. This funds your portfolio. This funds the investments that you make, the assets that you buy, so that you can get the passive cash flow that you're looking for. This is not that. You can build this thing to be a passive income. You could build a business so that you could pull yourself out of it and it's running like a machine. But it takes a long time. It takes years to build that up. But you absolutely can do it. You can build a machine here, but nobody's going to buy that. Nobody's going to buy that machine from you, right? Because you know once you leave, your team's going to be like, what is going on? So this is the cash machine that you have to pull out the passive income. You could build this as a business and make a ton of passive cash flow, but you have to set a minimum standard. That can't happen unless you set a minimum standard for how much you want to make every single month. All right? 2 more, guys. Stay with me. 1, you're a deal, people that try to be deal creators. You're not going to create a deal. You're not going to convince people. And I'm not talking about creative finance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you have to find people that want to trade potential equity for speed and convenience, to get the big checks, to get the big wholesale checks, right? That's what you have to find. You can't just all of a sudden be like convince somebody that they should sell their property at a discount. It's just not going to happen. That's not reality, right? It's just not. It's not reality. So make sure that you understand, don't try to force things. You want to find people that are ready, 1, that are an actual lead. That means they actually want to sell their property and transfer title to somebody else, right? They've made that decision. And 2, they want speed and convenience for the ability to transfer title. That's the sweet spot. Now you can get into creative terms and all that other things, but the seed has to be there that they want to sell their property. Right? They're ready to make this decision. You're not going to convince people to sell their property if they haven't made that decision themselves. All right? So stop going like, oh, they should sell it. It's ugly. They're going to foreclosure. They're doing this. People foreclose every single day. That shouldn't. We do our best to try to get all of them. I know we do. But people foreclose all the day. People lose it to tax liens all the time. Right? Every single day. All throughout the country. So just understand we're deal finders, not deal creators. And the last one is the lack of market knowledge. Guys, you need to understand. You need to understand the inventory and the buying strategy going on in the current market. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What is the current market strategy? Absolutely critical. Because if you understand the current market strategy, you understand the different buyers that you can sell your wholesale deals to. Right? And when you understand that, it doesn't matter what's going on in the economy because you understand what people are looking for and you go and find it. So understand the market inventory. Understand what is going on. Understand the buying strategy. Make sure that you have market knowledge. All right? Boom! There we go. So I think we're warmed up here. I think we're going good. Everybody seeing everything good? We're good? Okay. I can't see the comments on this. I can?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're pop up on the screen so you'll see them.
Okay, good. Well, then let's open this up. Guys, this show is designed for 3 things, right? One is the front part is to really understand and to get better at the skills of being a real estate entrepreneur. Right? 2 is to celebrate the victories that we have every single week. I don't care if it's talking to somebody for the first time and you've been so scared to talk to somebody and you've talked to somebody for the first time. You've closed a deal. We love celebrating. Nobody rings the victory bell more for closed deals. If you're just, maybe driving for dollars for the first one, whatever it is, any of these wins, I want to know about it. I want to know about the action that you're taking because it makes us know that what we do here is people are implementing and actually doing something, and we can support that. It means a lot to us. And then the third thing is to squad up. You got to consider this like a networking event in the comments. Let everybody know where you're doing business so that you can squad up with people that have good, positive minds, good, positive businesses. You want to be around people that are doing more than you right now. You want to squad up with other people that are like-minded because I'm telling you guys, if you go out into the general public and you start talking about wholesaling real estate and real estate investing and all this stuff, people look at you with like blank stares, right? They think that you're speaking like a different language. It's crazy. So make sure that you squad up and support each other, cheerlead each other in the comments, and let's rock and roll. And we get questions answered here. Whatever questions you have, let's answer them. Pooja, I got my first 2 properties under contract. I just follow TTP steps. Here we go. Come on. Congratulations, Pooja. That is absolutely incredible. We would love to hear a little bit more. Give us a little bit more juicy details. Like what list did they come from? Was it a call? I assume it was a call because you were doing TTP. And what market you're in. That would be fantastic. What are you going to make on these? Now, remember, we need to get these sold. We need to get these properties sold. All right? So make sure that you do everything you can right now to sell those deals. Congratulations. That's phenomenal. Tigers roar like diamonds in the sky. I like that too. I feel like that's a line of some song or something. Squad up. I did my first deal and assigned it in 3 days. Oh, we're starting with celebrations.
Oh.
We're starting with some celebrations today. Alejandra's on it. Here we go.
It's the vibes.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed, that we don't have a bell that drops from the sky. You know what I mean? But listen,
Well,
I know these guys.
There's only so much we
these
can
guys
do,
are
right?
just shooting daggers at me at the beginning of the show.
You guys had one job.
No, but congratulations. Closed in 2 weeks. Guys, I am telling you, every single day, every minute of every day, somebody's locking up a deal. Not only that, but the fact is 1,700 people a day are becoming a millionaire. Let it sit in. 1,700 a day. Circle it on the calendar when it's going to be your day. For real. And then build a business plan around it. How about that? And then just break it down by day. Sorry, my daughter made this name. That's awesome. Well, your daughter is badass. I like her. There you go. Blake, best motivation for wholesaling on the internet right now. Thank you, Blake. Yeah, listen, if you look, and Matt, if you'll just put up those two articles, and I think that this is really important because what I do is I track two things, guys. I track the inventory and obviously what we were talking about, the buyer patterns, but and here's an interesting from Yahoo. This is from this morning, talking about what's going to go on in a lot of the major markets that really blew up over the last couple years. There's definitely going to be, when people use the word recession because it's like a very scary word, and then other people use correction, which is a little bit softer. The fact is, real estate's going to do what real estate does. It's all supply and demand. At the end of the day, how many buyers are out there that want to buy houses? That's it. That's all I look at is, because remember, the value of property, it doesn't come from the market. It doesn't come from appraisers. It doesn't come from realtors. It doesn't come from the government. It comes from ready, willing, and able buyers. So what are buyers doing right now? And I think that this next article really, and this was 6:50 this morning. I was doing this. Yeah. I've been getting up early. I'm telling you, I've been sending this stuff. Mortgage demand is at a 22-year low as higher interest rates go. So what you're looking at, I always look at mortgage demand, because at the end of this, usually there's going to be a conventional a loan on most of the properties that are out there. So are people applying for these loans? And they're not, because everybody's kind of sitting on the sidelines. So that affects the cash buyers that are purchasing the deals that we're looking for. Now listen, a lot of the markets that didn't explode in value, most of the country, and this is where that whole Dave Ramsey conversation that I've been hearing a lot about comes in, where he's like, it's not going to crash. It's just going to kind of level off. It might dip a little bit, but you're not going to lose everything in real estate, is because a lot of the areas didn't go totally unaffordable. But the areas that did are actually decreasing on a monthly basis right now, which is really interesting. So watch that. But I mean, listen, it's like one of those things like this. Can we switch over real quick? It's like this. The market went like this. And in some areas it went 10%, and in some areas it went 40%. So then it drops 20%, and this was 2019, right? So you're still here at 2022, and all the sellers are going to be like, the sky is falling. The world is going to end. Oh my gosh, what is happening? And they still have, 20% more equity than they did in 2019. What affects this is the people that have current flips, and you're going to see all the people, the wealthy people that own multiple properties, are going to try to exit right now. And that's what's hitting the market. And so they're trying to take advantage of making sure that it doesn't dip too far down, especially the people that pulled out equity. This is why you don't pull out equity in your properties. I don't care what you say. I pull it out and then I put it into assets and investments and all these other things. It's silly. Pay your properties off so that you don't have to worry about anything and get good cash flow and can sleep at night, right? That's first of all. Second of all, understand where the flippers are at right now and why they're pausing, or some of the people that were just kind of dabbling in in flips are going to be on the sidelines for a long time. You got to build the relationships with the people that are real pros. All right?
Hey, Brian, I want to throw something out there. There is a lot of things changing, right? Economically, and I mean, rates are adjusting and all that stuff. But I want to emphasize the importance, right? If somebody has gotten into wholesaling over the last 3 to 5 years,
yes,
their whole business plan has to change. If there was a business plan, you can't be.
How would you change it?
The gunslinger method is not going to work anymore. We were at a really sweet.
Talk to them. Yeah.
We were at a really there I am.
Yeah.
There's the TTP fam. We were at a really sweet spot where you could just throw properties out there and people would actually claw for them, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think I mean that kind of stuff is not gonna pan out anymore. Mm-hmm. And you have to get applied when it comes to figuring out what your process is going to be. So it's important to have that business model, that strategy going forward. Even if you're not quote unquote wired to do that kind of stuff and you like to hustle it, it's that stuff, that shit's not going to work anymore.
Talk to me about that hustle mentality. What do you think prevents them from putting together a business plan? Is it something that they feel like they don't have the experience to do? Do you feel like it's just you're just in hustle season all the time because you're always feast and famine and you don't want to lose everything that you have, so you're just constantly in the tornado of going and you don't have thinking time, planning time?
No, I think it's a mix of that, but I think it comes back to our survival skills, right? When we're in survival skills, we have a need to control everything that's around us. All right, so we have that's how we're wired to survive, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens is that we jump into a space like this, and then you have to start delegating. It's like you're giving away your baby, right? And that need for control often just the thought of I'm gonna do it better if I do it myself. Mm-hmm. That's gonna it's gonna get you to a certain point, but I think that need to control everything that's happening in our business is really that what impacts and creates that wall between the empowerment of the team and getting just clogged up with everything and all the tasky stuff that we get to do. But the moral of the story is that need for control is just gonna set you back, and you're gonna drown because there's gonna be too many things changing. Mm-hmm. You have to get applied in the business sense of things and really roll that out.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's not gonna pan out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And save a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Save a bunch of money. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Stack it.
Stack your cash. Awesome. Guys, by the way, in 20 or so minutes, I'm not real sure on the timeline, but I'm going to give you a 90-second clip of an unbelievable conversation I had on the Wholesale Hotline podcast, and that's with Jerry Harris. He worked at AT&T. He did car sales and started really going bananas in this business, taking serious action, put together a business plan, put together a team, and is doing amazing things. So we'll give you a short clip of that. That'll be out tomorrow.
It's already out.
Oh, it came out yesterday. So the full interview is out yesterday. We'll give you a clip today. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I have the fortune of interviewing some of the most incredible people, not just the people that are, do millions and millions. I want to know the people that are doing stuff, right now and building their business. I love those interviews because then you see them years later and they're doing some amazing things, but they're in a different place. And I love giving people the perspective of what's going on in the minds and the actions that are being taken by somebody that is building the business that first year or so. It's phenomenal. So we'll play that in about 20 minutes. So stick around. Jose, walked through a property yesterday. We'll lock it up this week. Potential wholesale for $10K. First deal this quarter. Come on.
Let's go.
Celebrating. Awesome. This is the best real estate show on Wednesday. Thank you, Brett, and everybody involved with providing the value of the people consistently every week. One love. That's right. Be swell. We are working hard to be the best show every day of the week. Not that we're going to do a show every day, but not just the best show on Wednesday, if you know what I mean. There you go. So thank you very, very much. We love the support. I mean, that's the whole thing. Looking swole, Brent. Also, how is the new office going? Thank you. It is interesting when you go to bed earlier and wake up, you don't eat as many snacks at night. So, you lean up a little bit. But the new office is going fantastic. Alejandra's boyfriend, Cade. Sorry, guys. Alejandra has a boyfriend. Okay. Shout out to Cade. He is a commercial contractor. So fortunately, we've got it in the family where he's going in and just really kicking some ass on it. And so what do you think, Matt? Mid-August? Yep.
For our first live?
Yeah, our first live will be mid-August, so give us a few weeks. Actually, just as a reminder, we won't be here next week. I will be on vacation in Cape Cod, going from Phoenix to Cape Cod with my family, visiting my sister. And just a shout out, this is just a personal thing. It is my wife Erin's birthday tomorrow. So taking her to a fancy 12-course meal at Binkley's, and
Finally turning 21.
It's interesting when you go to something fancy, they make you pay before you show up.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Gratuity, the whole thing. They make you pay everything before you show up, and then they give you a call, and they tell you, it's wonderful. I'm telling you, white glove service is really important. And it really has influenced, because I've had a couple of these meals, it's really influenced what we do on our coaching side with the white glove treatment of the support and the overwhelming, proactiveness. When you go into a really nice restaurant like that, they're on it. Like, there's 4, 5, 6 people serving you and helping you out, and that's the way that we really have developed our coaching program, which is really cool. So thank you, Brendan.
Booha, she replied back about what list it was.
Booha, Brent, I'm just driving for dollars. Listen, I love this. I mean, this is like, we have not paid Pooha here, or Pooja. I have tried calling every list, but nothing can beat driving for dollars. I overcome my fear of cold calling, and trust me, it took time. I'm in Dayton, Ohio. Absolutely. I'm telling you guys, the name of the show is Ugly Houses, Big Checks. Ugly Houses, Big Checks, baby. That's what it is all about. Like, don't overcomplicate this. And in every market, and I'm telling you, I went through, and we're not going to go anywhere near the 2008, 2009, that whole thing. But people are going to feel that way just because it's like an echo of the past, and they're going to get real itchy about it. But investors are always going to buy good deals, always. So just adjust your numbers and find great deals. People are doing it here, taking the advice and winning. So that's absolutely incredible. Brent, found a property driving my kids to a birthday party last week and noticed a house with super tall grass, called on it, locked up a deal, and shot it to my brother-in-law and made $10,000 profit. Dustin, I'll tell you what, is this just a celebration episode? This is bananas.
Love that.
Wait a second, Dustin. This is going to be all your friends' event. What'd you do? You were just driving. You were going to a birthday, and then you called it. What'd you say to them? And they wanted to sell? That's crazy. Guys, dealmachine.com. Literally, it's an app. I was talking to my trainer yesterday about it. He's like, so Brent, what exactly do you do? I said, I find ugly houses. I put them under a contract, and then I sell them. I sell that contract to investors in town. And he goes, like older properties that are kind of like run down and they got like long grass and everything. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can anybody do that? Or do you have to have a license? I go, you don't have to have a license to put a property under contract. I mean, not in this state. In some states you do, but not in this state. And he's like, so how do you know the information? How do you even know? I said, you get an app from Deal Machine. You drive around anywhere in the country. If you see an ugly house, you click on a button and it gives you all their info. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, show me my house. I showed him his house because you could just zoom in and showed all the info. I mean, it's that easy, guys. It's just finding ugly houses and getting big checks.
But that sounds illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's illegal to call up your neighbors and ask them if they want to sell their property. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a lot of people think that real estate is just done through real estate agents. And the fact is 6 to 10% isn't. And that's the 6 to 10% that is in distress, and that's our market. The fact is 6 to 10% are in distress at all times. And we're going to creep up to that more 10% than we are 6% here over the next 18 months, which means it's going to be easy. It's going to be easier for us to. This is going to be the biggest and best time to talk to sellers ever. They're going to be like, I missed it. I'm ready. It's done. Oh my gosh, I have to get rid of these properties. And then it'll flip-flop. Then you have to find the buyers for them. So it's just, I mean, if you're building your cash, we've talked about the principles of this business, about making sure that you're building up your cash buyer database, making sure that you're lead generating, making sure that you're learning the skills, the sales skills, which essentially it is, of pre-qualifying, doing lead follow-up, and going on an offer presentation. We've broken down the whole business. Guys, if you have any mystery to this, ttpinsider.com for sure. TTP Insider. There you go. Soleil, I hope I said that. I don't know. I apologize. What's going on, Brent? My dad found my mom and I an amazing deal, and we locked it up, and now we're looking forward to a $50K end of the month. This is just, what is happening?
But
this is
Brent,
bananas.
the market is going to hell. There's no deals out there right now. Come on.
I'll tell you what, not in this world. This is incredible. I mean, congratulations. $50,000. Listen, we have something called the 50K Club in the TTP coaching program, and it is that's the goal. I have a conversation with everybody all the time to find me a massive deal, and it's 50K. And the reason I say that is time and time again, and it happened to me, and I was curious. I was really curious to see if it happened to other people. But when you get a wire or a check for $50,000 or more into your personal checking account, into your business checking account, whatever it is, it depends on where you're at in the business. Hopefully you have your business set up. But once you get that in there, your brain breaks. I literally got goosebumps, and I was feeling all watery in my belly, and I was feeling all goofy, and I was feeling all like, oh my gosh, can I do this again? Does this feel right? Should a person have this much money at one time? What about all the poor people? What about all the people that don't have anything? All these thoughts go through your head, right? And I think that that's pretty natural. And then you snap back into it, and you're like, oh, it was $50,000 worth of value that I provided. That's the only way you get $50,000 worth of income. And I think that that's really important. Once you realize that you can go out with this thing and with this thing and with this thing and make $50,000 off of one conversation, your life changes, and it's bananas. It's incredible. So congratulations right there. Go break your brain. Jason, thanks for your advice. I've closed on 6 properties in the last 2 months, and while I am watching this great episode, I'm getting 2 contracts signed. Beast mode. Let's go. I'll tell you what, people are not shy today. People are putting it in today. I love it. Congratulations, Jason. That is absolutely incredible. Here we go. Richard, let's just keep this party rolling. Let's just go for a straight hour. Spoke with a landlord yesterday, negotiated on the phone, sent them a contract over for our agreed price, waiting on that signed document, expecting to make $15,000. Get that deal signed. Get that deal signed, Richard. Here we go. Absolutely incredible. This business is absolutely incredible. I truly believe you're one call away from changing your life. Seriously, one conversation away from changing your life. I remember Max Maxwell used to talk about how you're one deal away from changing your life. It's truly, it's absolutely, he's completely right. He's completely right. I just have my own spin, one call away, because I think that you should be proactive. And I think during these next 18 months, I mean, it's going to be weird for the next 90 days, maybe a little bit longer. It just depends on how long they drag out interest rates increasing. But the making sure that you're keeping the money that you make is going to be more critical than ever, because you're going to find really ridiculous deals to buy. People make fortunes in the down. You can hear it anywhere, everywhere. People make fortunes in the down economies. And I'm telling you, it's going to be, you go out there, you make these 15, 10, 50,000, whatever it is, and start building that up and start building a reputation for yourself, and then be able to find these opportunities and bring it to people that have their money on the sidelines. And you could get into these without your own money, but it's better if you go into it with some, because you're going to get better business partners that way, or better private money lenders that way. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be the most incredible time in real estate. It is. I mean, the last few years, you could just you could lock up anything and sell it. Now you got to have the skills, and it's gonna be incredible. The people that follow this channel and follow the podcast and really implement are going to win the most. And you're going to see it.
Here's a side effect of that too. You know how many offers we always battle with? There's a lot of weeding out that's going to happen over the next few months. I mean, you're talking, I don't know, call it 8 to 12 months, right? There's a lot of people who are going to be falling off just because they don't have that system in place. There's going to be less offers out there, I think, educated offers going out there. So if you know your craft, for example, if you look at the 10th one that you put out there, and then you know the market, you understand how the process works, and then you have that business process in place, I mean, you're just going to plow in your market. That's what's going to happen. It's going to weed out so many people, I'm telling you.
You're absolutely crushing in here. Is it your office? Is that what's going on? I mean, you're giving everybody all the heat. You're giving everybody the fire.
I don't know, man. I woke up amazing today.
Holy cow. You wake up amazing every day. Get out of here. Santiago, Brent Raff, what changes are you making in your business to keep up with the changing market? Number one, we're going aggressively. We've changed our numbers. So in our market, the average, we were selling deals at 92% minus repairs. Okay? Now, and this is the conversations that we have with everybody, it's typically, we're about, I tell my team to lock it up at 70% minus repairs after having conversations with a lot of the main buyers here in town. When we talk to Keegley, they're selling it at about 70 to 77% and not minus repairs. So they've got, gigantic cash buyer databases. We've got a really strong, robust one, but we've got like 8,000. They've got like 80,000. So it's really interesting. You see the differences there, but we're going, I'm telling them 70% minus repairs. It's going back old school. And nobody has shit on that calculation more than me. Nobody. I mean, I've been talking about how I'm going to beat you like a drum if you go at 70% minus repairs and blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you right now, if you're still at 84, and that was kind of the average around the country, was 84% minus repairs because investors wanted 10%. So look at it. All right. Let's just do it. All right. So before it was ARV, and then there's a couple different things, right? So you've got closing costs. Okay, so closing costs we always put about 6%. Okay, ARV is ARV, and then what we did for profit of the investor that we were selling it to was about 10%. All right, now they're looking more at like 20%. They want to make sure that this is way bigger. If they're going to take the risk in a down market, they want to make sure that they're hedging their bets and they can still pay their guys and still keep people active and still make good profits off of it. So they're doubling the amount of profit here. Well, before, if you look at this is just 16% off the top, right? So if ARV is 100% and you minus that, we were going at 84%. Right? But now you've got this and it's at 26%. Okay? And that's before we get into repairs. Right? So we're looking at this thing going, okay, they want to make 20% on these deals, and we got 6% for closing costs. We're going to add, you could play around with this, but you could put another 4% on there, and then that ends up at that 30% if you add that 4% for closing costs, because some of them are thinking, well, the hard money loans are going to be increasing. They're going to be making sure that we put more down, whatever else. They're just kind of buffering it around here. So that's where we go 30% minus the repairs. Okay? Now, this only works if the minimum now, if you're in a market where you were under, if you're in a market where 20% is less than 30,000, you have to adjust your numbers. ARV now, here, and then you minus the 6% off the top, so you get 94% of this, and then you subtract 30,000, and then you subtract the repairs. I love this board. I love that. Can you guys see that all right? Yeah. Are they seeing it? Okay, good. So minus the repairs, that's the wholesale price. and then you got to be under that by whatever. And you're going to see right now there's going to be, just because the sellers aren't, you'd have to get it at really, really ridiculous. We're expecting in our business, because the question was, how are we making the adjustments in our business? We're expecting in our business to take a hit of 40 to 50% of our average assignment fee. Okay? And so we're like, wait, we still have our goals. How do we do that if we're making half as much? We have to do twice as much deals. It's time to increase the volume of the deals, which will naturally happen because these sellers are going to understand here that they missed it. And if they keep, it's a falling knife. This market is a falling knife that they're going to catch this knife and they're going to cut themselves. It's going to hurt them to take this price. That's the whole analogy there. But yeah, and then building in. So we're building in, instead of building in 50,000 for ourselves, we're building in 25 to 30,000 for our assignment fees, and that's where we're going in with our offer prices. Ref?
What we are doing to adjust is we're taking the same approach, so we kind of flipped it on its head, right? The same approach that we do for marketing on sellers, we're applying that on the buyer side. We're directly reaching out to just new lists of buyers and then getting aggressive, actually cold calling buyers to build up that buyer database. In the past, it was more of an organic approach, right? Like, yeah, you go to meetups, you start building up your relationship, your network, and that sort of thing. But now we're getting aggressive in building that buyer's base. And that's working well. I mean, it's we're vetting people. I mean, they bought properties. We add them into the VIP buyers list, and it's just one of those things that you're going to have to add on, right? You're not replacing anything. You're bolting on another process. For us, it's that buyer's approach that's working well too.
Has to be.
And we did adjust. We adjusted the numbers. Absolutely.
Well, and I think that there's going to be incredible potential to wholesale creative finance deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. The issue that I have is and this is a conversation I had with Todd Toback this morning, and he's like the master of, listen, Todd Toback's been doing sub-twos, he's been doing lease options, he's been coaching these things, he's done novations, he's done wraps, he's done all these things forever, like before they were cool, right? And so he's like, listen, if you train them too much on creative finance, my acquisition managers, that's all they'll find. You know what I mean? And you'll miss out on a lot of big deals. So I thought that was very good advice. And what that means for you guys is stay focused. Ugly houses, big checks. If you run across something that if they won't take your price, ask them if they'll take payments or terms. If they say yes, find somebody that can walk you through that's an expert at putting together those deals. And you're gonna learn a lot in this market. Yeah. Good question. Teresa, there it is. Would you consider high equity lists to be distressed? I feel like they may not be in dire need or really distressed. What I would do there, Teresa, is I would make sure that the house was built before 1990. I would make sure that you're probably. I would Google the median sale price, and I would take off a third, and I'd look for properties that were kind of in that range. In the communities that are that range, so that you're not going after like millions. And then I would make sure that they've been owned for at least 7 years, and that'll give you a better idea. And, so you want older houses that aren't aren't in the luxury market and that have been owned for 7 years. And obviously not on the market. But it's interesting, Kenny and I and Daniel here, we shot a video yesterday that'll be going up next weekish of the live calls with the agents. I've been calling agents that have listings that are over 30 days of really ugly houses and just seeing how realistic their sellers are. And basically offering them 30 to 50% and just planting the seed that they need to sell these things at a significant discount. Because in this, the first things that the properties that are going to get hit the most are ugly houses, are the ones that need complete renovation. Because if you can't get conventional financing on these properties, and you're thinking that you're getting a top price, it's going to be a bloodbath for the rough properties that people are trying to sell. And the interesting thing is, and Kenny will and Daniel will do a great job editing this. The sellers, they don't care. Some of them are just unmotivated. They just won't take the loss. They won't take the hit. So if they won't, move on. But the ones that can't, that's who you want to focus on. Louis, what do you do if you have a lead who's going through foreclosure? How do you extend so they don't foreclose on it? First of all, find out when the foreclosure is. If you can get it closed, if your closing date is before the auction date, you have no problems. And if you can't, you got to reach out to either the court or the trustee or whoever is handling the foreclosure and tell them that you want to get a postponement so that because you've got a contract. If you don't want to deal with any of that, Rochelle at Constant Close. Do we have a thing for Constant Close? I don't know if we have a runner for Constant Close, but Rochelle at Constant Close. And I can have Alejandra put the spelling of that. She is the master at getting those postponed. It's going to cost you $400 though. So it just depends. RASHELL at Constant Close. She is one of the hardest working professionals I've ever met in my life. She really is an absolute savage. She makes me feel like so lazy. I mean, she is just unbelievable. Great energy, great personality, like a motor like you wouldn't believe. I don't think she sleeps. And I have a YouTube video on it. Okay. So look at that. Constant Close. They do a great job at postponing those. And so you don't have to go and do all that homework. You can stay focused on finding your next deal. But they do charge you up front. And I don't know if it's $400 or $500. If you use TTP, I think it's $100 off is what it is. So make sure that you do that. There you go. I want to get a count on how many times I say, there you go. There you go. There you go. It's like, okay. Nathan, how do you calculate your contact rate on the dialer? I'm using Call Tools. So I've never used Call Tools, so I'm not exactly sure. Have you used Call Tools?
We did for a while, yeah.
Shouldn't it just be there?
Yeah, I think it was on the dashboard. On the reports for the dashboard, it'll give you the basically the contact rate. I think what they roll in there is abandoned calls, it's voicemails, and then of course conversations that they pick up. So there's a couple of things that play into it depending on the platform. But I think that's what content or Call Tools had in there, and it's on there. Should be on there.
There you go, Nathan. Just reach out to him. We've got training in our coaching that puts them into different buckets, so you know when people say yes, no, maybe, and do not call. So there's usually 4 buckets, but it just depends on how you are. They call it disposition of the call, but it just depends on what you're putting as the category of what happened with that call. And make sure that you are, because you want to know how many people you talk to. Yes. Contact rate, yes, but how many of those people said yes to you? Because then you know how many calls you need before you get a lead. And that's really critical to know. Because that'll tell you, 1, how's the quality of your data? 2, how's the quality of your list? 3, how many leads can you expect in an hour? And then it's just math. There you go. God.
There you go. There you go.
All right. I'm gonna say can of corn.
Can of corn.
One of my trader said that apparently in the Midwest, can of corn means easy. Like yeah, that's easy. It's a can of corn. You ever heard of that? Has anybody on here heard of that? If you've heard of that, please post if you know the term can of corn and where it originates from.
Can of corn.
Nakari, my question is, what's your take on the Metro Detroit market? Is it a feasible market to be in? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Jerry Norton started out in Detroit, buying properties for $2,000 and flipping them for $7,000, or fixing them up and selling them for $50,000. So it's just a price point. What I would highly suggest that you do is Google turnkey rental companies and see if they're buying in Detroit. That's going to be your best place to sell those. Or just find out if there's any economic zones, right? Opportunity zones.
Opportunity zones, yeah.
Look if there's opportunity zones and if there's anything that the government can help you out with. And if you get like some sort of tax credit or investors get tax credits in those areas, that'll bring more people in there. And then just follow the market. What are people buying, Nakari? What are people buying? You know what I mean? What neighborhoods are they looking at? Are they going after these properties that eventually are just going to be bulldozed, or is the economy coming back to Detroit and people are going to be able to live there? How's the population growth? If you look at it, is it going down? Is it going up? Are people coming out? Are you seeing more renovations? Are you seeing people what's called gentrifying the neighborhoods, which means, you know, the older people that have been in that neighborhood forever are dying off or moving or retiring or selling, and the newer people are coming in? So you just have to see if that's what's going on. Can of corn.
Can of corn. Did we completely move away from the bananas in the fruit basket?
That's it,
thing?
John. Exactly, John. Can of corn. Yes, exactly. He was a baseball player, so he told me that's where it came from. But he said it was a Midwest thing. Can of corn was like an easy pop fly. Yeah. Yeah, there we go, Ashley. Ashley knows. Grandpa would say it. Okay, good. I'm representing the Midwest here. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Listen, my dad's from Chicago. My mom's from Iowa. Just saying. And, hello, I'm so busy and I have a cold caller right now. Would it be better if I save the money and make 1 hour calls myself? Also, I'm a sales manager at a call center, so I have the skills already. And, yes! Absolutely. And I would challenge you, Ann, and listen, I understand you've got responsibilities, you've got habits, you've got all these things in your schedule. I guarantee you could call for more than 5 hours a week. I know you can. I know you can. Listen, right here. Switch this over, Daniel. There we go. Everybody has 168 hours in a week. Everybody has 168 hours in the week. If you find 20, look at that little curly guy, 20.
It's a fancy 20.
20 hours. This guy's got like a little top hat. Look at him. He's a fancy 20. Look at him. Look at that guy. 20 hours a week, part-time for your business. You got it. Can you put up the part-time schedule, Matt? Matt? Part-time schedule, please. If you put up the perfect, if you look at the perfect part-time schedule, 15 hours of lead generation, 1 hour practice and role play, 1 hour lead follow-up, 1 hour driving for dollars, 2 hours appointments, driving for dollars, and lead follow-up, 2 hours for your appointments. If you're not doing appointments, if you don't have any appointments, and you can download all these things at T2P Insider, guys. Let's play, let's take a little pause, 90-second pause. I want you to see Jerry Harris and the incredible things and the incredible conversation we had. And then I want to invite you after the show. Don't leave us. We got more heat to come. But after the show, definitely check out that podcast interview. Matt,
well,
if you'll...
I owned a car dealership for 10 years. Buy here, pay here. Went to do AT&T for about 8 months, 10 months, and sales because I love sales so much. Naturally good at selling. Naturally good at talking. Naturally good at negotiating. So that was one of those type of things that just came perfect to me. The wholesaler came to a contractor. They couldn't get funding. They came to me. This house turned out to be a complete nightmare. This house took me a whole year and 4 months to sell. Yeah,
so what'd you buy it for? What'd you sell it for? We're going to ring this victory bell.
We brought it for 20. We sold it for 141. We brought it for 20. We put 30 in it. We sold it for 141. I was in it altogether around $55,000, and I sold it for 141.
And netted?
It was $78,000 after everything was said and done.
$78,000. Are you kidding me? Yes. How'd that feel?
It felt great.
Is that the biggest check you've ever gotten?
That was the biggest check at one single. Right now, we're doing about $156,000 a month. So, right. But that was the biggest single check that I ever received at one time.
I'm not joking when I tell you every single person on here, I want to interview you at some point. Seriously. I want to interview you. I want to share your story. I want you to get recognition for being a badass and going out there and taking serious action. For real. You want to interview every single person, but you need to go get deals. You need to get deals and be loud about it. We will interview you. I'd love that. That makes me, that's one of my favorite parts of this business. Edgar, amigo, if flippers and rehabbers are on the sidelines, what should be our exit strategy then? It's not all of them. It's not all of them, Edgar. They're still there. Will you put up that hierarchy of cash buyers, Matt? So first of all, when we're looking at this, there's still buyers. By the way, hedge funds are still buying. Hedge funds are buying a lot, actually. Hedge funds are buying, they've just adjusted what they're buying, and they don't want to do as many repairs. That's why it's kind of screwing us up, is because we're playing kind of a game of what should we do with these properties. And you guys are going to hear more and more and more about novations, which in the world, if you're a real estate agent, it's basically what a net listing is, where you say, okay, this is the price that I'll give you, and whatever else I sell it for on the market above that I keep, and I'll take care of all the repairs and fix-ups and all that. And that's a nice strategy, and we're going to be getting into more of that. And Todd Toback's going to blow your face off with it. But really, like right now, Edgar, you've got really ugly properties. You've got dated properties that are kind of playing that novation game and or hedge fund sales. So there's two different strategies. If it's a newer property and it's in okay condition, sell it to a hedge fund, build those relationships. You can still do very well with that. Just make sure that they are cool with assignments and you don't have to close on it first, because I don't want you closing on a property. I don't want you closing on any property that you're selling to a hedge fund, because they have pulled the rug out of so many people, and people have gotten absolutely crushed by overpaying for these properties, closing on it, and then the hedge fund saying, we decided, here's our earnest money, we decided we're not going to close on it. So make sure that the hedge funds are going to take assignments. Okay. And then the other ones is, when people want retail value, let them have retail value or do terms. So really there's kind of three tools in the toolbox, right? You got a screwdriver, you got a wrench, and you got a hammer. The screwdriver is going to be your assignment. The wrench is going to be like a novation or a hedge fund, and then the hammer is going to be some sort of creative finance deal, so that you can get really good deals. But with creative finance, people will pay over ARV right now. All the time, and people don't care as long as the terms are strong. The issue is with people that wanted to get cash, and then you talk to them about terms, and they want ridiculous terms. They want like 50% down. They want to pay it off in 2 years, and they want to like do some weird thing. That doesn't work. It's not going to work, and they'll get more realistic. But hedge funds are still there. Creative financing is still there. Owner occupied has gone away because inventory's rising, right? Inventory's rising, so the people that are just your cousin, your friend, your mom and dad, they're going to go on the market, they're going to go on Zillow, they're going to find properties that are listed, and they're going to buy those. Before, they couldn't do it. They had to buy off-market properties as soon as it hit the market, because they were getting outbid on all the properties. That's going to get out of here. Value add is always going to kind of be around. That's when it's a big project, but a lot of those are on the sideline because they're very concerned. And that's like when you buy a small house and you add square footage to it and sell it for much more. Or it's like in California where you put like a mother-in-law suite or a UB something, I forget what it's called, a BU, I don't know. Some sort of, somebody in here tell me what it is, where you put a guest house on a property. It's like a secondary unit, whatever. Somebody educate us here. Huh? ADU. Is it ADU? Additional dwelling unit. Yeah, I think it's ADU. Boom. Look at that. Airbnb is gone. Sorry, gone. Rental portfolio, pretty much gone. Some of them will do it if you get them a really good deal. And middle America and in the markets that didn't get too crushed is going to do fine with rentals. But if you're in the Southwest, if you're in the West, if you're in the Northeast and the Southeast, forget about it. I mean, just forget about it. Because the prices have gone bananas and there's no cash flow there. Burr strategy, pretty much gone because of interest rates. So you got fix and flips and other wholesalers that have people that are fix and flips. So there's still some opportunities in there, but you just have to, the deals that we're getting the most on, just selling it to the hedge funds that we're paying ridiculous prices, or Airbnb, or the Burr strategy, it's really rough. It's really rough. I mean, Airbnb and David Dodge is the best Airbnb, best burr strategy coach that exists, in my opinion, and he does very well in the Midwest. So maybe it doesn't affect some markets more than others. So it just depends, guys. I mean, either way, here's the thing: you don't know until you lock it up, put it out there. But we can't lock it up if we're not taking action, and we can't take action if subconsciously we're like, oh, everything's falling, everything's bad, everything's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be more deals done over the next 2 years than there was the previous 2 years. There was more cash purchases in Phoenix in the downturn than all the rest of the years combined. It's bananas. What exactly do you look at on the dialer to tell contact rate? Oh, no, we already had that. Kind of. It was a different question, but you want to look at how many calls does it take to connect. So that's should be right there in Call Tools. Joel pulled a list of 203 multifamily, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, with filters of 20 to 25 years old, 5 units and 40 units in Houston, 40 to 60 equity, 40 to 60% equity, 15 years ownership. What filter is the best for multifamily? I mean, I think you got it. I mean, here's the question. Is it a big enough list to keep you busy? Yeah. That's what I always look at. And if you put it into a dialer, you can call 50 addresses an hour. Now, what I would do with multifamily, just because it's super unique, I mean, there's not a lot of them, and people getting into this business typically aren't going to jump into it, so there's going to be less calls that these people make. I would leave voicemails for every one of them. I would put it on a single line dialer. This is what I would do. I put it on a single line dialer, and you can adjust how many dials it goes to before it goes to the next number, and I would set it up to 10 or as high as it goes, and so that the voicemail kicks in, and I would leave voicemails for every single one of them. And I would see how many of those called you back. And when they call you back, they know. They're not going to be like homeowners. They're going to be like, hey, I'm calling about this property. And you're like, yeah, what's the address? They're not going to like fight you on, oh, you don't know the address? Oh, you don't know anything. You're not experienced. I mean, maybe some of them, but you're typically not going to deal with that. That's why I don't like leaving voicemails for single family properties or townhouses or condos or land, is because like the owners of that think they're the only person you called that day. So it just kind of clogs up your system, and then you're on your back foot, and then you're playing catch up the whole time. So
also, when you have a list that's small enough and it's niched out like that multifamily kind of stuff, it's worth it to hit it from a couple of different angles, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff that we'll tackle with a direct mail campaign, for example. We definitely do text messaging to that kind of stuff besides the cold calling. And yeah, you definitely want to drop a seed in there somehow, some way. So yeah, consider that as you're going through lists that are small enough to be where you're still able to do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Last one from him.
Best filters for mobile home parks when pulling lists. Length of ownership.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be a tremendous, huge list, so call them all. Just make sure they weren't bought like 6 months ago. Make sure that they've been owned for a little while. And then you could do it. I mean, you could pull them by most of them are going to be in some sort of corporate ownership. But you can see if any of them are owned as individuals, and that's going to be your best bet. But hedge funds are buying those things up like crazy. So there's your buyer, right? If you get them locked up. Cold calling is a bit nerve-wracking. Especially when you hear no. However, I got my first deal on a cold call. How do you feel about texting? Yeah, texting's fine, but texting is lowest hanging fruit, and the carriers are blocking it. It was a wonderful strategy before the carriers caught on. And so you can only send a certain amount of texts out. I mean, if you can't get them on the phone, then text them. But I would not replace them. I would and this. It's not or calling or texting. It's both. It's an and. So, yeah. I mean, listen, the hard part is getting rejected. The hard part is getting told no. I mean, that's where that's what I think is if Matt, are you able to put up it was number 3, education plus action equals results, where it's actually action plus results equals education. I believe people hide behind education because of the crippling anxiety and stress and fear they have of rejection and failure. For real. Like, it just is. So if you put in the action and get the results, that's your education. You build that skill faster. The people that win are the people that can control their emotions. And controlling your emotions means that if people tell you no enough times, you are going to be fine with it. It's just reps. It's just building the muscle. You know what I mean? You don't go onto a golf course at 15 years old and play as good as the pros. You know what I mean? You're terrible. You don't go into something and all of a sudden you're just an absolute wizard at it instantly and a prodigy. I mean, maybe there's some prodigies out there, but in our business, it's just doing the reps. You know what I mean? And even prodigies have to do the reps. So the action, that's the thing. And I had it in the notes. The crippling fear of failure and rejection is the thing that keeps us in education mode. And when we're in the education loop and we're like, well, I'm going to make sure that everything is perfect, and the paralysis by analysis and the procrastination, the 3 Ps, right? We let those all creep in. It's because we're afraid of being told no. We're afraid of being yelled at. We're afraid of people telling us that we're in trouble. You're in trouble now. You called me. I had a text or I had a post to the Facebook group this morning, and it was like, I called a real estate agent, and they're complaining that they're on the do not call list. And I was like, it's a commercial number. It's a commercial number. If you have it on Realtor.com, if you have it on Zillow, I mean, it's a commercial number. I mean, it's just, people are crazy. Listen, we interrupt people's days, but you need to interrupt some people's days that are people that are in serious stress and distress with their properties, or it's gonna be even worse for them. So, can of corn. Sandro, I want to thank you for everything you do. Sandro, that's what I said. Yeah, Sandro. I want to thank you for everything you do. You're one of the reasons I got started. Since then, I have closed 10 deals and done 5 flips. I have 5 deals waiting to close right now.
Fire.
Well, let's be honest here, Sandro. You are the reason you got started. That beautiful, strong brain of yours that decided, I'm not going to be in the row like they put us in school. I'm not going to be in the cubicle that they put us in work. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take all the risks, and I'm going to face all the rejection. I'm going to face all the failure. I'm going to go out there and take action because I believe, and I am not just interested, I am committed to succeeding in this business. Congratulations. That's amazing. Awesome. Colin, hey Brent, did my first JV deal with a group in Georgia a few months ago. My total payout was $15K. Recently lost my job, so started wholesaling full time. Thanks for the help, Colin. Listen, good. Don't get a job again. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hustle. Hustle this thing out. Go bananas. Be obsessed. Do everything that you can. Keep that money. Keep building it yourself so that you keep as much as possible so that you're in a fantastic position when all of the best deals, when everything goes on sale, and it's coming up. So just keep that money, Colin. We celebrate you. Congratulations. That's awesome. AM Real Estate. How do we legally do deals out of state with an LLC we have in one state? Does that make sense? I don't know. Hashtag I'm not a CPA, but I've never had a problem. We do deals in Florida, and they send us, a 1099 or a W-9 or a 1099, right? So I've got an Arizona LLC and that we do business, and we do business in Florida. And so I would check with the CPA or a tax attorney or whatever, or I would just Google it. But I've never had a problem with it. Yeah.
We do deals out of state too. One thing just to kind of look out for is look at the clauses. You may need some special clauses depending on what state you're doing business in. So just keep that in mind. It's not necessarily about the LLC so much, and hashtag not a CPA, but definitely the clauses on the contract. The clauses in the contract might be required to be a little different. So.
Vanessa, last week we spoke to a seller to get a contract signed, but the seller decided to get an appraisal. What do you recommend telling the seller? Absolutely. I want you 100% confident with the price that we're going forward. You know, that's a conversation you have. But the other thing is, just understand, whatever the appraisal comes at, this is the price that we're willing to pay you. And if you find a buyer that's willing to pay you appraisal price, I want that for you. Congratulations. I want you to make as much as possible. If not, this is the price that we have and what we're willing to sell. Because here's the thing. Some people people don't want to feel like they made a mistake. They don't want to feel like, they rushed a decision. So you got to let them go through the process of the research that they need to do to make a sound decision, which is very smart. You should always encourage that. You should always encourage that. Ryan was on the show last week, and we talked about the two powerful questions that he asked. Ryan's my acquisition manager. Over 1.9 million closed in the last 12 months, literally like calendar to calendar, June to June. And he walks in, what's your goal with the property, and how much research, what research have you done? Because they need to be confident that they're making the decision. They need to be confident with making the decision. Because the worst part is when you go in there and you say all the right things and you've got great energy and they're like, oh my gosh, I need this to be done. I need this to be handled and everything. And you lock up this deal and you get it out to your buyers and your buyers go and they get it. They're excited about that and they give you the earnest money and you assign it to them and then the seller wants to back out. And they won't sell. And they make it, they make it very difficult. And that's tough, especially if you're just building momentum in your business. Would you recommend role playing by yourself or with somebody else? Currently reading The One Thing, narrowing down the majority of my focus to TTP communication skills. Teresa, 100%. Listen, I would do both. It's an and here, but I would highly suggest. You're going to feel better working with people that are like-minded and that you guys are both building your skills. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to go to the gym by yourself? Do you want to go to the gym with a friend? You know what I mean? It's always better like to push yourself with somebody that you go with. Now, a lot of people go to the gym by themselves just because of, convenience and schedule. But you can figure it out. You can find a time when you can do this, when you can find somebody that spends an hour a day. We have a role-playing group in the TTP coaching that meets every Friday, and they do a phenomenal job. And I think that the iron sharpens iron, and they've all been getting better. Terza, just started out, and to be honest, I'm scared. Yeah, I would feel more confident if I knew how to get in touch with investors to submit deals to. Keyglee.com. Literally, just go to Keyglee. And it's spelled just like it sounds, which I always thought was a goofy name, and I told Jamil that, and I think he came up with it, and I think I kind of hurt his feelings. But anyway, I think glee is just a weird word. You know what I mean? And then, I don't know, whatever. But go to keyglee.com and go find which markets that they're in, and then you can run every single deal past them, and they've got buyers for all of it. So you don't have to worry about any of that. The only thing you have to worry about is building your skills and communicating effectively with distressed property owners in the beginning. And then they'll backstop you. They'll check you. They're in most markets. So, Teresa, I'd love to know what market you're in. So just keep an eye out for that, Andra. I don't know how long ago it was. Brent, is there any benefit to have your assignment check sent to your LLC bank account, or is there no difference just sending it to your personal account? Hashtag. I have no idea. My CPA tells me make sure it goes into the business account, but I have no idea. I couldn't give you advice on that. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if one account works here and one account works there. At the end of the year, how do you do your accounting, and what's your profit and loss and all this? Like, I put it into my business account, but talk to a CPA.
I do the same thing.
Yep. Can of corn. What's up, Brent? I've done about 25 deals for $260K in the last 12 months. Charles is on fire. Look at that. Look at that smile. Charles has that lady killing smile. The 25 deals for $260K in the last 12 months. Started scaling, lost some focus, and lost it all. Yeah. Advice on bouncing back. Got myself back on the phones this week. That's it. I'm telling you, Charles, that is a story that unfortunately repeats itself more often than it doesn't, and that is because of number 2. Can you put number 2 on just in case Charles wasn't here at the beginning of the show? We try to leverage other people's skills instead of build the skills ourselves. And you look like young and strong and gonna go out there and be powerful. Just master the skills, brother. That's it. Just master the skills. Just go after the skills. Everybody. If you read all the biographies, if you listen to all the podcasts, if you hear all the interviews, and you see all these people that have made $10 million plus net, like wealth, like their wealth from their business, or sold a business, or make that a year from their business. 10 million net wealth. They've made a lot of money. Let's just say they've built up a lot of wealth. They have all had the Rocky cut scene. They've all had the training scene. They've all had that in the mountains, doing abs off of a board, getting shredded, putting in the work, putting chains on, running on the beach, punching bags, doing all this stuff, punching meat in a freezer type of experience. The problem is everybody wants to skip that. I had to talk to 45,000 people myself to be where I'm at. 45,000. That wasn't a VA. Those years and years and years. Pace and Jamil, they've talked to people forever. You know them. You know how big their motors are. Jamil would reach out to every single person every single day. In his heyday, he was sending out 300 texts he was typing himself a day. For years. There's no overnight success. All the people that are coming out that are like, hey, I'm 19 and crushing it, it's all bullshit. I'm just telling you right now, they haven't put in the work. The skills aren't there. I'm just telling you. Unless you put in years and years and years and reps and reps and reps and reps, it slips through your fingers. So just put in the reps. You're in hustle season, which is dope, because then you get to reminisce on your Rocky cut season, on your Rocky cut scene. You know what I mean? That hustle scene. That thing where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm down, and now I got to really, focus and build it all up. Good. I'm glad that you went through this now. I did the same thing at 26, 27 years old. It was terrible. It's heartbreaking. It's brain breaking. It's routine breaking. And then you step up. And thank God, you stepped up a lot faster than I did. I took like 2 years to get out of that funk. You just lost it and are coming back now. So go bananas. Just focus on building the skills, building you right now, and you will bring in so many people. Build the skills, be really loud, and be around people that do more than you. Yeah. Definitely going to stay in myself a lot longer this time. Learned a lot to bouncing back stronger. Appreciate you. I'll be ready for the interview soon. I will be too. I'm ready. Let's rock. Joe, do you have advice on how to get on the phone with more motivated buyers? What list should I pull, and from what sources? I need to talk to more people. Number one, Joe, you need to talk to the title company closing attorneys and find out who are the best buyers, who's actually closing deals right now. What's the word on the street? You got to go to the meetup groups. You got to look at who's moving and shaking. You got to pull lists of people that are actually closing on these deals. Go into batchleads.io. Right? Go into Batch Leads and look for people that have bought 10 or more properties this year or in the last 12 years, and skip trace them and start calling them and just ask them what is their buy box. It's the same cover. Everybody's thinks that regular Joe cash buyers are different than hedge funds. They're not. They both have buy boxes. If it's here at this price and this and in this condition, I will buy it. Just find out what their buy box is. We've been lazy. I've been lazy. Everybody's been lazy. We've been just throwing stuff out there, and it sells for way more than we put it out there for. There's skill to getting built up. Jeremy, my disposition manager, has been with me 3 years, has been building that up, and we've been real consistent on making sure that we understand. But for the most part, he would send anything out and it was sold. I mean, almost every time for more than we wanted. So find out what the buy box is for the current buyers in your market. And then that's what you target. Should you call properties owned by an LLC? From Gary. Absolutely, Gary. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, why not? Yeah. I mean, it was smart for them to put it in an LLC, but what does it cost you to do that? A couple $100? I mean, it's not like they're like, oh, these people have these $40 billion trusts and they'll never look at my offer. No, these are just people that put it in an LLC because their accountant told them to do it when they went to TurboTax walk-in center that pops up every, March. You know what I mean? Timothy, I'm new to TTP. Do you have any students in New Jersey, New York, wholesaling ugly houses for big checks? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In every market. But New Jersey's great. New Jersey's got a great, not like New York City. I don't have any like Manhattan, that type of thing, but Long Island, upstate New York, Buffalo, New Jersey. New Jersey has, it's crazy. New Jersey has like 1,000.
I have students killing it there.
Yeah, counties. Yeah. Yep. Do you recommend as a beginner starting out with direct to seller or agent outreach making offers on market? Both, Garrick. Garrick, go for both. Listen, if you have, let's just say that you follow the perfect part-time schedule, Matt, again, please. You've got 15 hours. If you want to call agents for 5 hours and homeowners for 10 hours, great. If you want to call agents for 10 hours and homeowners for 5 hours, great. I would just say if you're building it off of, hey, listen, send me all your off-market deals as an agent, they have to be smoking hot deals. I think a more interesting strategy for everybody out there. For some reason, I was reading that bottom line, and it's like, sign up. Today, it's free. Instead of sign up today, it's free. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's always free. What are we talking about? Do people think we're charging for TTB Insider? Anyway, sorry, I'm goldfishing here a little bit. I would go after, just like I did yesterday. You look on Zillow, you look on Redfin, you look at properties that are 30% under where the median sale price. So you Google the median sale price. It says it's 400,000. Times that by 0.66 so that you're looking at the properties under that. And then you go, okay, it's been on the market, put the filters, been on the market over 30 days. And then just start going through all the active listings and looking for the trash that's on the market right now. And call up the agent and offer them 30%, 30 to 50%. And just see. Just see if the seller's really willing. And then the conversation that we had yesterday, the question that I kept asking is, if they don't sell it, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with the property? Oh, they'll just fix it up themselves. No, they won't. Oh, they'll just keep it for a while. There's a reason that it's on the market. If they think that they can just get what they want for it, great. There's the one that you did that Kenny did the Instagram post on of me, and I'm looking at this thing. It's at $210,000, and I look back in 2011, they bought it for $5,500, and they put $0. This property looks absolutely garbage. And I called up the agent yesterday, and he's like, yeah, he doesn't care. If he sells it for $210, he sells it for $210. He won't sell it for anything less. Well, yeah, he bought it for $5,500. That's not a motivation. There still has to be motivation. So what you're looking at is you're trying to call all of these agents to put in these 30, 50% offers, but you got to find out if the seller's actually motivated. We called one. It's listed for $315. They'll take $250. I told him 200. He says, we have 2 other offers. I said, okay, what is it, a cash offer? No. Can you get conventional financing on it? We think so. It's not going to happen. I'm going to get this deal. I'm going to get that deal for 200. I'm going to get that deal. And I said, I'll follow up in a week or 2 because it's not going to happen, huh? And then I'll sell it to you, 100. It's right down the road. There you go.
For $250,000.
Can of corn. Fearless content. What advice do you have for a person who has a limited amount of income but wants to get the most out of wholesaling? Listen, I got my first deals door knocking. Literally 0 budget. I think I actually carpooled to knock on the doors in the neighborhood. I think the most expensive part about it was I had to slam Gatorades and water because I was door knocking in May, June, July, August in Phoenix when it's a bazillion degrees out. I literally researched best, most durable shoes for hot weather. That's how poor I was. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't have any budget. I had to find like I think I bought them from like Walgreens. You ever buy Walgreens shoes?
No.
Right? Yeah. Like that's how bad it was. And just door knocked. And then I realized if I got a name, address, and phone number, I could be indoors and do this and talk to a lot more people. Eureka! Ha ha! TTP is born. But the fact is, people have been calling for business in every single industry for forever. People weren't doing it in real estate. They were doing it as real estate agents, and that's how I was trained. And then I was like, just wait, can I just call ugly houses or these houses that are in pre-foreclosure, or these houses that show up that they've are non-owner occupied and they're older and they have been owned for a long time? And I would pull those lists, call them, boom. Just ugly houses. The first 20 was just driving for dollars. It was just out there just driving for dollars, getting it. And then I really got smart. I thought, oh man, I could just pull lists. This is crazy. I could just pull lists here from my tax assessor. This is before I knew anything about PropStream. This is before Batch Leads was even created. And so you can go out there, Fearless, and you could knock doors. You could save up a budget and get $100 and skip trace. I think $100 at batch skip tracing, divide that by 14 cents is probably $500-600. I don't know. Addresses that you can get the phone numbers to, and then you just call them. It's all pure profit. You're already paying your cell phone bill. I don't think that people pay for minutes, do they? Is that still a thing?
I don't think so.
It's all unlimited, right?
Yes.
There's something like the Walmart cards.
You can get Walmart cards or something?
Cheap.
That might have been me back in the day. My Walgreens shoes.
One of the things that works great, I mean, there's a ton of people right on the chat, but squatting up. If you look up somebody in your area and then team up, because I do have students in certain markets that go in and then they'll partner up just to go door knocking. One guy takes one street, the next one takes the other, but it's kind of like a little accountability group that just gets together on a regular basis to go get rid of that fear first and foremost, and like they generate leads. Yeah.
I feel like you guys in this lighting looks better than me in this lighting. You know what I mean? Like go back and forth. Look how cool they look. Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
This is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Dang it.
Sorry.
Raphael's always one-upping me. Here we go.
Well,
Yeah, too white. Yeah. Would you consider driving for dollars the best list? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Especially now. Because here's the thing. The thing that I love about driving for dollars is they can only sell them for cash. And if you are the gatekeeper to all the cash buyers that are still in the market, you will rake it in. $20K a month, yeah. It's a couple deals, depending on your market. There could be one deal, depending on your market. Kiva, there she is, part of the TTP coaching family. I'm driving for dollars in between my Lyft rides in Berkeley. Yeah, awesome. You got to always have the mind on. If you have the mind that the jobs that you're doing is just a placeholder for when your income is replaced by this business, you will replace your income with this business. You become what you think about, without a doubt. And then it just takes over your life. And then all of a sudden you're seeing opportunities that you didn't see before. What's that brain thing? Can you look that up, Kenny?
RAS, reticular activating system.
Yeah, there it is. What do you call it, Russ?
RAS, the reticular activating system.
Explain what it is.
So no, I was just writing it down actually.
Yeah.
So when you start paying attention to certain things, say that you buy a red car, right? You start seeing red cars on the street all the time.
Everywhere.
Same thing for driving for dollars. It's the same
Pregnant
thing.
ladies?
Same. You know.
Pregnant ladies everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And the
If your wife's pregnant or you're pregnant, not like now.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be weird. But it's the psychology works the same, right? Our brain is just kind of wired to pick up things that are familiar, and that becomes familiar. So if you make familiar the fact that you're looking for distressed properties, you're gonna start picking stuff up, even on the neighborhoods or streets that you go, through on a regular basis and you hadn't seen before. But that principle is the reticular activating system taking place. That's what it is, and it's not. It's crazy because again, you start. It's almost like a red flag on stuff that you just decide to pay attention to.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Teresa's got Deal Machine, and she canceled it because virtually it seemed to be outdated and wants to know how to navigate virtual driving. I don't know what market you're in. If you're in a major market, it's been great for virtually driving. There's nothing better than Google Maps, and that's what they're connected to. So if it's not good in your market, you need to drive or get a driver. But if you're virtually, if the Google Maps isn't updated in your market, I don't know if that's totally true, Teresa. I would investigate that more. I'd go through that list a lot more, because that means that like all the ugly ones that you went for are now rehabbed or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because we have a driving for dollars list that we'll update like every couple years, maybe 18 months, but usually 2 years later, maybe 5% of them sold, 10% of them sold. It depends, but yeah. Troy by Playboy. I've scaled to 30 to 40K a month solo, and I now recently hired 2 VAs that are killing it. Yes! But now I'm so bored. All I do is close and dispo, which takes 2 to 3 hours a day. What else can I do? Well, it just depends on how much money you want. If you want more money, get back on the phones. You know what I mean? Stay really focused. First of all, Troy, Playboy. Here we go. That's phenomenal, and I love that. There's a couple different things. One, you can get back on the phones if you want it to go faster and build more. And that would be my first suggestion, so that you can stack more cash for this sale that's coming up. And number two, if you didn't want to get into that, then you need to start developing into, how do I train acquisition managers, disposition managers to pull yourself out of it. And then once you're there, you can keep an eye on it, and then you can see what other business you want to start. I mean, you got to make sure that you're focused on and keep an eye on this business. You got to put that 5-10 hours in to make sure that you've hired the right people and they're doing the right things on a daily basis. But I love it. I mean, that's the whole point. Do you want to be a business owner or a self-employed? Self-employed, you get to stack a lot of cash, though. Self-employed, like if you have a team and they're doing some stuff too and you're also doing it, woo, gasoline on the fire. So if you're bored, then get back on the phones to get even more money to stack more cash so that you can buy all these things. You want to be real bored? How about this? Get back on the phones, stack a bunch of cash, buy all these properties at super discount, have a stupid amount of passive cash flow coming in, and then you're going to be real bored. But then you get to control what you do, right? The amazing thing about being bored is you get to control where your attention is. You just have to make sure that idle hands don't do the devil's work. You know what I'm saying? And start, doing things that take away your profits, or investing in things that are risky, or taking bigger risks that you know that you shouldn't, which is also risky. Risky. Can of corn. Brent, I've been cold calling for a little over 2 months now, but I have an interview tomorrow for a sales position for a local wholesaling company in my market. It's based off of salary and commission. Okay? Is this a two-parter, or am I going to I assume he's just asking for advice. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to still build your skills. What I would say is I would make sure that this wholesaling business has been around a long time. If it's been established in the last 3 years, I would not take that position. Because they're just going to try to leverage you to save them from if they don't have their systems in place. My experience is anytime somebody's left me, and we've had some cold callers and some texters leave us to be acquisition managers in other companies, and these other companies they weren't real leads, and they didn't give them a base, and it was like one of those. Well, we'll give you minimum wage, but we'll bonus you on commission, whichever's If you close deals, then you get the commission. If not, we'll give you minimum wage type of thing. And if you need it, that's one thing. But if you don't, I would just keep rocking and rolling. I honestly would. And if you need money, I would do something else. I would do something that's more flexible, whether it be Uber or Lyft or whatever else. If you need some money on the side, or whatever side hustle you can, but you can stay focused on your real estate. The worst is if they have you come in and they're like, well, you can't compete against us. And we've been open for 18 months or 2 years or 3 years. Like literally what I would do is I would see what their LLC is and see how long they've been established. Because a lot of people that say they've been open for 3 years have been open 18 months and they're just rounding up. We've been open 5 years. It says you opened here in 2019. That's not the right math. So just watch out for that. If they're well established, have a ton of leads, have a ton of opportunities, I would say it could be a good idea. But a lot of those bigger companies that were established over the last couple of years in major markets are going to be closing. Yeah. June, what CPA company and or business license company do you guys recommend? I really like Prime Corporate Services. I really like those guys. Can you put that up, Matt? Prime Corporate Services does a phenomenal job. Here's what happens. So everybody can know what to expect with Prime Corporate Services. They get you in. They're unbelievable. They're going to help set up your LLC for basically cost, right? They'll make a little bit of money. Maybe they'll net $100. Their real passion, what they're really good at, is making sure that your taxes are filed. They do some wealth management stuff, and that'll come along at some point. But really, what they're masters at, one, they've set up over 100,000 businesses. They've mastered that. But their real core of their business is helping people with their taxes and making sure that you're covered. Because I remember getting started in business with Mike Mahoney, and I was 22, 23 years old. I'd never filed taxes in my life. I've never had a job, and so. It was like, what? I can't just keep all this money we're making? What the heck's going on? What do they take? Like 5%? 10%? How much? Oh, you know what I mean? So you want to make sure that is all buttoned up and you have expectations of what you're taking home. All right? Liana. I have 2 properties near my home. I've been trying to find out who the owners are, but I'm having no luck, and the city's boarded up both homes. Any idea on how I can get these properties on contact? Well, one, it just depends on what tools you're using. You could use Deal Machine. You could use the trial, even if you don't want to do it, or the trial at Batch Leads, and put the addresses in there and search it. You could search it in your tax assessor website in your county or your state. Property tax is state, right? Yeah. Arizona, it's state by state. And I don't know, some people aren't states, they're territories, or they're commonwealths. Virginia's a commonwealth. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyway, just you can search and just find who the owners are. And then if it's owned by the state, which a lot of times those boarded up properties are taken by the state, you forget about them. If it's owned by the state or the city or whatever else, there's so much that goes on there, so many hoops to jump through. So
for one-offs like that, if they don't have a setup account or anything, I like Spokeo.com.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Spokeo.com. It's pretty. It's not expensive at all, but it's pretty decent for one-offs. You usually get like social media information too, so you can hit them via Facebook and it works out well.
Awesome. Richard, with probate leads, do you still qualify them and try to get an appointment even if they are still waiting for the courts, which is like 90 days? Oh yeah. You always want to have a conversation with them, Richard. You want to start building that trust. You want to see what their strategy is or what they're thinking with this property. Sometimes, I mean, if you can put it under contract as soon as possible, that's fine. You just have to make sure that you're over communicating with them and really let them know, listen, when we're under contract, and a lot of them don't because they want to wait until they actually take ownership before they sign anything. And that's fine. You got to be very respectful for that because it's a tough time for a lot of people. And so you just got to make sure that you're communicating, and I wouldn't throw out a price until they're ready to sign the contract. The issue is if you throw out a price early in the process, it will get leveraged. 100%. Even if you say something like this, you know, Bob, this property, I'm looking at the neighbors, right? This is the technique that I want you guys to use when you're reaching out to the property owners, which gives you kind of a pass to be able to negotiate is, I'm looking at what the neighbors in similar condition are selling for, and it looks like it's around $187,000, right? And they go, okay, well, we're not really sure when it's going to close, so we'll let you know. Every single person that approaches them about the property, guess what? We have a $187,000 offer on the table. Now, did you offer him $187,000? No. Is that what they're going to start their bidding at? Absolutely. So really guard that price until they're ready to make a decision. And go back and watch last week's episode with Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager. He does a phenomenal job of holding that tight. Now, listen, we lose out on a couple deals because of it. A couple deals a year, a few deals a year, maybe a couple, 2 to 4. Because he doesn't give the price until we can meet them, until they're ready to make a decision. Somebody swoops in there and just offers them the price and, either kind of, really puts the pressure on to sign, or they just out-rapport us. I mean, there's just going to be times when you get out-rapported, right? Somebody's from the same hometown as this seller, and we're not. Somebody has the same similar background growing up that we don't have. You know what I mean? Somebody's a neighbor, or somebody's a friend, or somebody's a family member, or whatever else. You're going to get out-rapported, out-relationship. But for the most part, you want to keep your price until you absolutely have to. Denise, after just a few days of having a house under contract and people telling me my comps were wrong, I checked to see the comps were added. Messed up my ARV completely. Has this happened to anybody else? Denise, every single real estate entrepreneur, business person, investor, wholesaler, this has gone through, especially in the beginning. I'm telling you. It is just part of the process, especially now as things in some markets are starting to dip by 1% or 2 or 5 or whatever. It's fine. This is part of the reps that you go through. You got to have a conversation with the seller and say, listen, based on the numbers, I can't do it at this price. I need to be at this price. Do you want me to cancel this, or are you willing to do this price? That's a conversation you have to have, and it's a tough conversation. But you learn that you want to avoid that conversation, so you learn how to comp properties faster and better. It's all part of it. So congratulations. Absolutely. The tough one, Denise, that's not even the toughest one to swallow. The toughest one to swallow is when you lock up a deal and you put it out there for $10K and somebody swoops it up and then they sell it for $50K more than what you put it out at. That's the tough one. That's the punch to the gut that you're like, oh, man, I got to understand what the buy boxes are for buyers. So completely, listen, happens every day of the week. Don't worry about it. Brush it off. Master Shake 2730, I just got a buyer's list through relationship building from another investor. I plan on calling them to establish a relationship. Any advice on how to lead off that call?
For just building up the network with another investor? Or?
Yeah, building your relationship with a cash buyer.
Oh, I mean, we sound like a broken record every time we say lead with value, right? But that's really what you got to do. I mean, if you're trying to build a relationship with another cash buyer, I was actually just having a conversation about this. One, confidence is going to go a long way, right? You can't dibble dabble, and when you're walking into a conversation like that, you have to own your at least the the infrastructure of your conversation. What you're going to say to them, right? This is what I'm doing. Lead with transparency. Tell them, hey, listen, I'm doing a heavy marketing in certain areas for properties. I want to team up with somebody who I can bring the properties to. What's your buy box, right? But you're leading with value. You're not asking them for something right out of the gate. You're letting them know that you can provide something to them, and I think that's like one of the most important things.
Yep.
As far as building something that's gonna be a long-term relationship, not just a one-off on buy a property. But yeah.
Matt, is there a way that we can put a hashtag don't dibble dabble?
Don't dibble dabble.
Don't dibble dabble. Yeah, that's exactly right.
There you go.
Lead with value. Hey, listen, I'm super proactive, and I'm going to find the best deals. I'd love to bring them to you. Are you buying right now? And if so, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Any book recommendations? If you haven't read Go Giver, read Go Giver. Yeah, make sure. Remember this. And this is something that I've had to find later is when I find books that really, really hit, like really blow my face off and my hair back, reread them. Reread them again and again and get them on Audible and read them again and again and again. I love The Happiness Advantage. I love The Go-Giver. I love anything by Earl Nightingale. I would, if I were you, and if there's any time that you're having mindset issues, and it's kind of sticking to you, right? It's kind of sticking to your brain, and you're just kind of like your subconscious is getting goofy. One thing that always helped out with me is listening to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube for free, and you just listen to it. It's a half hour. You just listen to it every single day, and it'll change your life. It's really, really, really powerful. And so it was put out in the 50s. He sold 15 million copies of this thing. I mean, he made an absolute fortune on a 30-minute recording. And Earl Nightingale is the godfather of all of the personal development people. All of them. All of them, all of them, all of them. And he got his start from Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill did the whole Think and Grow Rich, and then Earl Nightingale took the baton from there. So, yeah.
Something along those lines. Somebody made a comment actually earlier about Neville Goddard.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Power of Awareness is a really good book.
Awesome.
Power of Awareness.
Yep.
So.
One more? That was it.
That was it.
Come on in, crew. We love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us and getting through the beginning of the show. A little bit of technical, but we've got it dialed in now, and we're very excited. And go out there and take action. I mean, who is going to sign a contract today? Who is going to get that deal today? You know what I mean? Who are you talking to right now that is going to do business with you today? So on behalf of Matt and Aaron and Raphael and Kenny and Alejandra and Daniel and myself, we love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean. For real, keep your house clean. Your actual house and this house, but your actual house. Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you'll live a fantastic life. Love you guys. See you in a couple weeks.